All right. I got my microphone and everything. I'm recording some Facebook ads and I got a setup here. All right, guys. Holy shit. I wanted to make this video because today's a big day. Today's the day where this is it. Like, this is when we're going to start the sonic boom of economic growth. Can't say the word. It's going to be amazing. And in this video, I wanted to celebrate this day as really, once you become an adult, there's really not much to celebrate about, right? It's very rare. Like when you're young, you're celebrating like every Friday night is like a celebration. It's like a massive explosion. But when you're an adult, it's, years and years and years go by before something happens that's actually significant. Today, with Trump winning, what is set in place, I don't think people, I guess they realize it, but I haven't seen my beliefs and the way I'm looking at it anywhere. So I wanted to take the moment and try to share it. And within, as time passes, see how much of it is true. Am I delusional or is there truth to it? So obviously I'm not that much into politics. I still don't really understand much of it, but I understand directionally technology, just advancement. What is good? What is bad? I have a general sense, common sense in that direction. I can look at the issues that they're fighting about and look at that in a presidential debate. One of the core topics is how men could be women and women can be men and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, to me, as somebody, I'm like, how is this even a thing? Like, it doesn't make sense to me, right? So I'm like kind of detached from all of those like, subtopics that people are in. But here goes my envision and how I see things playing out because of today. First and foremost, let's start here. The CEO of a $1 trillion company, NVIDIA, guy's name is like Jensen or something, right? The Asian dude. He was mentioning how one of his clients, whoever it is, I don't know, probably one of the top 10 companies in the NASDAQ, did a setup for this AI thing, whatever, right? There's a lot of wiring and whatnot, and he set out the plan that they took. It's a 1 year was the planning, and it was 3 years of implementation. That's how big the gigafactory is to set up a whatever LLMs and shit like that, things that ChatGPT runs on. The computing power, right? So 4 years in total. Elon's team did it in 19 days. And if you know Jensen, if you look at his stuff, he's not he doesn't articulate or give that much emphasis to something. But it is clear when he's saying this, he literally is like at awe at the speed and the efficiency that this man can pull under his leadership. And obviously at this point, he has, the greatest track record that has ever been shown in any human being that has ever walked the earth, period. By far, by a huge margin. And then here's where it gets like interesting in the sense that there's a pot of gold, right? There's a pot of gold where every little American, like I'm in this little room trying to get some sales, and there's like 300 million of these people. And a chunk of their money, 20, 30%, a big chunk, a good chunk of their money goes to that pot every year. Okay, massive pot of money. It's the most wealth, though, in the world. It is a sinking country, but it's still the richest country. And so far, that pot has been guided by people who have no experience, like zero, not like less experience than a store clerk. Right? Even a store clerk has basic understanding of like, hey, put this on the shelf like this. And these people are just speakers. I mean, most of it is like hidden. Like, who's even in Washington? Who the hell knows? Do you know these people? Have you heard of them? What is their names? What do they do? What does their 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. look like? Who knows this stuff, right? So we don't know. It's like kind of this dark entity. We have a few people who just speak, and they guide this pot. Oh yeah, spend 250 billion for a train track that never laid a fucking, like, even a block. And there's hundreds of stories like this, right? Just billions thrown around everywhere with nothing happening. So now when you take a step back and you think like, wow, the richest country with the biggest pot of taxpayer money is sitting there, and it is being wasted in the most inefficient way humanly possible. Like, you can't even make it up. Like, even if you, like, as a normal, sensible person, right? Somebody who has a decent brain, if you tried to do it worse than them, you probably would have a hard time doing so. It's like billions of dollars of train track. I don't think a normal person even do that. They'll be like, all right, well, I don't know what they would do, but they would not make that kind of mistake. But anyways, but the point is, now imagine with all that inefficiency, is now guided under the greatest efficiency track record human being that has ever lived to ever walk the earth. What happens? What could be possible? A person that trillion-dollar companies are at awe on, that takes them 4 years, gets shit done in 19 days. What happens when he has a say directly and how this pot of money can be used to make this place better? Then you combine that with what happens when the long list of laws, right? Like Neuralink, they like fucking speed through shit, so much so that, again, the media attacks them. Oh, they're using, Tesla, move fast, break shit into the realm of healthcare, and it's not gonna work. This is gonna be a disaster. It's like, okay, they did it though. I mean, they got somebody who can now telepathically, just with their thoughts, move a computer. My point is, that's Neuralink. So far at this current state, they speed through, get stuck, and then they can create a miracle faster than Washington can sign. It takes them 2 years to sign a paper if they are allowed to advance forward. When there's guys like me who's like literally waiting just in a room for years and years, who can go outside for a walk a little bit, but not too far. So many activities that is crossed out of life and the choices. And there's a lot of us. Not millions and millions, but a chunk. Happens to be a crowd that I care about because I'm from it. But I'm just one example, right? And I always bring it back to health in some way because that's where I am. But if you just play it out in like every part of life, I am sitting right now. If I sit here long enough, I'm going to have to get up and walk around. Okay, that still probably stays. If I have to walk around for long enough, I'm going to have to eat something. Well, then I go to the kitchen. There could be a robot making my food. And my food is not even that hard to make. You just put it in the oven and then wait a time and take it out. It's going to be an easy robot job. How long is that away? With today's event, it's before the term ends for sure. Before 2028, pretty much every house or every neighborhood for sure will have multiple homes where there's a robot that is doing all your chores, walking your dog, cooking your food, and if it's open source, we'll have cool little applications. Grandma comes to visit, it can show them pictures of when you're small, make her laugh, like whatever, right? All this kind of emotional stuff will be also built in. I talked about this a little bit in the last video. I think people I think you can, I mean, I wouldn't say you'd fall in love with them, maybe in Japan, but I think people will get attached to these things, right? It's like, we're pretty damn attached to our phone. Now imagine something that talks to you and is by you and gets you everything. Like it's like with you, right? It's gonna be, so that's like one little thing. And these are all little things, right? There's no like one big thing, you know, we're not gonna just like instantaneously float up and become an omnipotent being, right? That's probably gonna take a while. But in the next 4 years, in this term, that's one thing. Self-driving is already here, so what's the point of even saying it? That's not the future, that's today, right? I think it's going to be a little bit higher paced, right? We'll have taxi, robocabs, all that kind of stuff that's demonstrated where like there's no driver at all. There's no way to even drive it. There's no steering wheel. They just come, pick you up, drop you, and these are like roaming around the cities. You'll just need way less cars. Cities will quiet down. You don't need so many fucking cars. You don't need a car in every fucking house waiting there because they can be everywhere you need to go. The cost of transportation overall will just come down. So there, we talked about like, you know, a few little pieces. To paint it with a bigger brush, it would be something like, the base infrastructure is about to get an uplift. When's the last time the base infrastructure got an uplift? You know those memes where you see it's like, I don't know, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s. It's like same, and it's like 1970, and then boom, it's like, you know, or like 1920 or something, and there's a boom within like that 100 years. There's like a huge improvement. It went from like horses and buggies to like cars and stuff. That's a shift, right? Shifts can sometimes be stuck. There's no much improvement happening, just evolution doing its little slow bullshit, right? Which sucks. And then boom, you have actual advancement with technology. We are about to have one of those. And the way it's going to look like, a lot of it is going to come down to like the base fabric of the energy output that like we need to do to live day to day is going to have like a huge reduction. So for example, like an average person to live in America, most places, I think you have to make like nowadays a decent amount of money, right? Like you can't get by with just like 2,000 or something. When I came to America, my rent was $250. Now it was cheap even compared to then because I was sharing with you know, multiple people in the same house and whatnot. But even if I say that it was like $2K, my rent right now is like, you know, I mean, it's not, even if I said it was like $1,200 for a normal room then, it's like $3K now, right? It's like 3x. The direction we're going to be headed is going to be like where the amount of work that one needs to do to get the base necessities paid off is probably going to shrink down to maybe like a day or two. Like it's hard for me to, you know, put it to like exactly like, you know, like kind of like a good frame. But if I had to guess, I think like maybe like a 1/5 roughly, which is a big difference. Like think about anybody you know who works for a living, goes to work, spends 40, 50, 60 hours to work. How many of them are doing things they actually enjoy? Not most people, even me. Right? Like right now at this point, I'm not enjoying like what I'm doing. I'm just like, all right, like I fucked up in life, lost a lot of money. Now I got to make it back. This is what I do. What else is there to do? This is what I got to do. You know, this is my vehicle and I just like grind through it. What happens when you are only having to work like, let's say 5 to 6 hours a week, because the amount of energy it takes, or money or monetary energy it takes for you to pay off all those things is just like way less, right? Like your bills and stuff like that, everything's that the infrastructure is lifted. Like, okay, it's taking me way too long to try to explain this, but here's a good example. It just like hit me. Right now, if I go outside, there's a sidewalk, right? I didn't pay for the sidewalk. The sidewalk's there. I can walk on it. I can touch the road, and it's already there. It's nice. One day this wasn't there. If you were to like stand on the sidewalk and then like somehow time just wind it 100 years back, it probably would be like dust and like cactuses and stuff like that. Well, at least in Arizona. And then like a cowboy would come and like catch me or something like that, whatever, right? Some weird shit. But like right now, there's infrastructure already there. We don't go outside and be like, oh my God, there's a sidewalk. This is so cool. I can walk on it. It's like, no, it's just used to it. It's like, okay, this is how society is. What happens when that level of infrastructure is like upgraded? So then normally when you have to work to pay bills and electricity and costs, what happens when all of this just comes down? Like electricity, what happens when it's like $1 a kilowatt? What if that's pulled off? That would be a huge difference. How are you going to do that? Well, fucking leave it to the smartest people in the world, right? It's not just Elon. It's Elon removing the barricades that all these people put in place, all these dumbasses put in this fucking place to block out the most intelligent people in the world. When this is removed, they can just push through, right? Solar, energy, electricity, fusion. There's so many ideas, so much experiments going on. And they're like, so many of them are stuck from just regulations. Can't do this, can't do that, can't do this permit, can't do that permit. When all of this shit is removed, it's like people, like human will times the intelligence will be like, the throughput will be maximized. It's like it was constricted by like a fucking like it's like a pipe they were like squeezing. It's like bent, right? Like a garden hose. And then like it's like coming in, then straightening that out, and then replacing it with a pipe that's like fucking this big. It's like it's just gonna be like a fucking wash through, right? It's gonna explode. What used to take 10 years of advancements, it could, especially with AI and stuff like that emerging, it could, I think, get to a point. I think we could beat month. I think we could get more than 10x improvement, meaning every year is like a decade or two. It might even get to a week, who knows? If it probably gets to that point, it's gonna be probably like, like we just want to have some money and just like hold a few things together, like the people we know close to us and stuff, because there's gonna be such a rapid boom that like I don't think any human being will be able to like keep up. It's gonna be just a group of very intelligent people who we trust and have everybody's interest in mind in a relative way. Not I'm saying fucking their jokes and their tweets are everything you like, but I'm saying like overall it's gonna be way, way better than some unknown entity that decides everything and pulls the strings behind the scenes in Washington. And obviously can't do shit in the first place. Has no fucking skills. No track record. Nothing. Like, if they had skills, we would understand. I'm like, all right, you're evil as shit and you want us dead, we understand, but you're making things better. Okay, cool. But it's like, no, you're fucking dumb. But you just have all the power. It just happens to be. But we just happen to live in your, like, fucking fabric. So how do we escape out of it? This is how. This is basically what's changed now. They're probably drafting up the emails as we speak. Like, Elon, when he just let go of like 80%, they're probably like drafting up those, what have you accomplished this week? Answer me type shit to everybody who lives there. And anybody who can't come up with a compelling answer and back it up is going to be probably out. I don't know exactly how it works, but like, they said that they will give some severance. Hey, it will be 1 to 2 years where you'll get paid and you can find something to do in society. And I think the way he put it nicely was like, just go do something else that you guys would do normally, not be somewhere here. It's like, get the fuck off the stage, guys. It's time. Like, it's clearly not moving anything. All right, so there's some stuff there. How many time we're at? Damn, that's already 20 minutes. Holy shit, man. I talk a lot more than I need to. What else comes to mind? So massive upgrades, technology, health. I'm gonna be fixed. I'm gonna be back. I think like I think I made it. It's insane. My test was 2022. I didn't die, and I made it. So now I just have to stay like this, and I'm fine. I don't see any reason why I can't make it till 2028, and I think that's the max. I think it could be even by 2026. They're at quadriplegic, and then there's paraplegic. I think they're that right now, and then still fixing brain injuries. I would say closest would be probably next year, meaning like 2026, not 2025. But within 2026 and 2028, I think I'm gonna be getting the surgery done, and all I needed to fix is just my brain to gut connection for digestion of food and energy. Metabolization, and if that's the only thing that's fixed, then I'm fixed. Then I don't think I will be even. I think 80% of the limitations will be removed. Will I be able to go back to like fucking drinking alcohol or some weird shit like that? No, I'm not even sure if I want to, in the sense that like, if you gave me a perfect body that has no repercussions from any of those things, yes, I would fucking love to take drugs and everything I can if there's no repercussions, but that's not realistic. But given a normal body, I think I would rather be a little slightly sick that the repercussions of like substance abuse is high. So I just know there's a manual way to keep me in line and just stay clean. Probably. That would be my wish. If I did, I'm like, knowing myself, there's a chance I could go back. So then I just want to be slightly sicker than I did. Like right now, I would say I'm like 70% sick compared to a normal person, right? Compared to my old self, I would say I'm like 80% good. But like in a normal body wise, I would say I'm like 70% sick, 30% alive. And if I get to 80, I don't really want the last 20. Anyways, man, my nose is itching. So there's a lot of that happening. And anything I say with health, just like think of anybody you know that have any kind of health related issue. Everybody knows somebody who has health issues. Friends, family, mental health. Mental health is also Neuralink, guys. Anything with like seizures, schizophrenia, dementia, all of this stuff. And he said those are some of the easier ones to fix, right? Like literally name them and stuff like this. Like, yeah, these are like completely like, circuitry problems. This is what this is intended for, right? So all of this will be fixed. But moving forward from there, healthcare itself is one of the biggest industries that is so inefficient. Anybody who has used the healthcare system, it is like jaw-dropping how messed up it is. Like I stopped counting after 50, but I have worked with 50 doctors. That's not 50 consultations. That's like, I'm going to be your patient for a while now, like that, right? 50 plus doctors I've worked with. And every time I had to like rewrite what are the issues that I have, like pages and pages. And some of these like doctors are like specialists for very complex cases. It's like a long thing. Like it takes me, like I have to block out time in the evening to fill it out. So there's no like basis where they all share stuff. So nobody's learning from all the other people around the world who could be suffering things like me. They wouldn't know. Like I figured out so many little weird medicines that if somebody has a brain injury, I could help them, because it took me a long time to figure that out. I did such weird consultations, people from like, South America that is on ayahuasca, to Europe that has like complete different stuff. And some of them was completely crazy, but they told me this one medicine that helped me with this. Like there's so much learnings. I mean, just generally as human beings, as we're going through life, we learn little things, right? But other people have to make those mistakes to learn that. And in certain sectors, it would be nice, such as healthcare, where you suffer and can't breathe. It would be nice if all those learnings were in one place unanimously. I mean, it kind of sounds like an AI, right? Probably. It's going to be some central system where you can like put in all your queries and what your symptoms are. And you can just find out what are the things that can possibly help safely first and give those things, right? This is just on the suggestions level. This is information still, which is very digital, meaning very easy. But now with this day going forward, that level of easiness is about to come in the physical realm. So surgeries, it's going to be done by robots. There's going to be a robot explosion, right? Like I should probably name this. I don't know what to name this video. You know, the day start of the golden age. I think that's a great one. Start of the golden age. Yeah, let's go with that because that is the truth. But if I had to put a circle, like, you know, like circle of topics, you see like Venn diagrams, one of the biggest ones will be like robotics. We're gonna have an explosion in robotics. Surgery, everything, fucking drones to drop off items, like fucking everything you can imagine. I think like a lot of the stuff, like just think of anything you need to do and just think of like, why can't a drone do it? Including transportation, probably. I wouldn't be surprised by the time we get closer. Like, I think flying cars are about to come. Like, pretty sure. Like, it might not look like just a normal car, but like a drone thing that has enough, like, because the drone technology is already on the cusp of starting to go vertical. But now with this and no regulations, the inspiration of Elon, it's like, I mean, it's gonna be like, it's donezo. It's like game over for that kind of stuff, right? It's gonna, I think, start with robotics. For on the physical realm, I think robots are gonna be the biggest thing. Because like, what else would be there, right? Like one of the biggest questions I had for some time is like, okay, like how do we go from AI being in ChatGPT to then like being like this omnipotent being where we can go to like, God, we're having issues with this problem. We need a way to extract all the power from the sun and then, you know, help the entire earth with power. And they'll be like, I got you, puny little human. Give me a day. Like, how do we get to that point? Well, right now it's fucking, hey, can you format this PDF in this way? Right? So it's a pretty big bridge, right? It's gotta have to be where like that being, and if this sounds weird to you, like if you're religious or something, guys, like think about it. Google is the current God. So who do you rather have? God is where we go with our questions. Who do you go with your questions? It's fucking Google. So who do you rather have? An omnipotent being that's designed and with the values of humanity as a whole, which people like current who's elected like Elon will make sure that it's, you know, like look how much he's fighting when he's not even elected to just make sure that the population is safe from the few people who are trying to make AGI and control it. So this is a move towards having a good God. There's no question that God is coming. Like we are going to have a digital God, period. It's just about, is it going to be an evil God or a good God? Now it's very favoring towards a good God. So with that being said, that God needs hands. It needs workers. I mean, it would suck if it was like just using the humans as slaves to get everything done. So how does it go from ChatGPT? It's fucking robots. Obviously. Like what else could it be? It's going to be humanoid robots. It's going to be drones. It's going to be an army of intelligent robots that are in sync with each other. Like a hive mind, like a bee nest. Right? But they can, instead of being just like, needing to sleep and shit and eat and stuff, they can just be taken over and have massive output, massive speed, massive amounts of, economic activity done at scale. That's where the abundance is going to come from. How are you going to go from just working a couple hours and barely needing to do anything? Because in that world, forget dollars and stuff, right? What is 10,000? What is 1,000? It's just you did a certain amount of your thing, whatever humans need to do at that point, if there is still something left. Most things is going to be able to be done by robots, but if there's anything left, you do that, and for that is enough. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to prove yourself, right? You don't need to go work and put in your 40, 50 hours to complete your shift. Because why? Why do we need a human being to fucking beep the fucking thing when somebody walks in and buy some groceries? And if you take that's from that simplicity all the way up, why do we need humans to do anything, right? Marketing, roofing, why do you need roofers to go roof in the first place? If robots can do all these things, these are dangerous stuff. Homes, building, like if all of this, like the entire fabric of society, if most of the building is done by intelligence that can coordinate mass amounts of robots in unison, then why do we need any of this stuff? The answer is we don't. We don't need to do any of this stuff. You are a winner just for being you. Welcome to planet Earth. You have gotten the golden ticket. You're born at the right time. You happen to be currently alive when we're about to enter the golden age, an age that human beings has talked about and dreamt about and wrote poetry about for thousands of years. This is the start of that age. I'm going to end with this. I said this roughly last time, and it's something that I feel a little bit vague about, but with this election, I no longer feel vague about it. I don't think technology is going to stop at the mile mark, meaning if you see how inefficient certain things was in the past, like taking pictures used to cost a lot of money because you have to develop those films and all that stuff. Now it's like so easy and you can take as many as you want that you just run out of options. You don't know which one to choose, which picture looks the best. There's like zero cost, right? It's an example we can use to kind of understand that, whoa, this used to be a lot of things. Even this phone, I'm like recording a video from, this used to be so many little items. It used to be a flashlight. It has a calculator. It has so many items. It's now like digital apps, right? So I talked about this, how we're so good at the digital side because there's so less regulation in that fucking space, right? The people in the Washington don't understand this digital shit, so they leave it alone. But they understand healthcare. They understand this, so they just put a bunch of shit so you can't do shit. When this is eliminated on the physical side now, there's really not much. It's harder to innovate here, right? Because there's gravity and stuff. But it's not like the entrepreneurs that's in play don't know how to do this stuff. Elon knows how to build. Many other people know how to build. Maybe not as good as Elon, but they're good enough. And with those things removed, longevity is going to be a big thing. So I have an injury for my brain. Many people suffer from injuries. They have cancer. It's a big part of society. These are the things we're going to fix first, right? Because this is human suffering. Cancer and stuff like that. How many lives have been lost? How many people have lost their friends, family, mother, father for diseases like that? That's going to be first come, first serve. But after that, here's where technology does its thing. It doesn't just stop. It doesn't have like its limitation at like, okay, we solved this, now we stay here. It keeps improving. It's an improving machine, right? It keeps getting better and better and better. It doesn't stay stuck. Once these things are solved, like we're going to cure cancer. I don't think 2030 onwards there's any, like cancer's an old thing. It's like, oh, your friend has cancer? Oh, he didn't take the vaccine yet? Oh, you should take the vaccine. Yeah, it's not good to have it's bad for your body. You should just go take the vaccine. It's just done, dude. Like this kind of suffering is done. It's limited time. Once that is done, though, that's when things will start to get even crazier. Because in the 2030s, what's going to happen is we're going to start repairing the fabrics of this whole thing. The body, our cells, the aging system, what actually starts breaking down at a microscopic level when you start getting age 70, 80, 90, 100, stuff like that. They're going to start fixing all of this stuff. The first person, like people who are, let's just say 200. I was going to say like 500. That might sound crazy, but people born now, the first person to live 200-300 years is already born. That's for sure, 100%. There's no question about it. Because they have another fucking 50 years to figure that out. They're going to figure this out in 2030s, bro. They're going to have that in next decade down. So the people who are born recently, it might even be like my brothers and stuff. Like they're about 20. By the time they get in their mid 30s, the extension might be already at 150. I mean, it's such a time to be healthy. This is like, I mean, this is probably the biggest responsibility that I can say. Like, your job is to keep stress levels as low as possible, have relaxed downtime, eat clean organic food, have a clean diet, don't have sugar, exercise, get sunlight, basics, do it well and do it like fully, right? Rejoice in the prana of existing and be completely with it and just hold still. Don't give it to these pleasures. Don't take drugs. Don't drink alcohol. Don't even eat bad food, sugar, fucking all this kind of like, trashy food that there is. Just be clean, because it's coming. It's not too long. It's so worth it. What is gonna be like if you get locked? What if you get into 2032, 2034, and it's like, hey, we just found out that like your aging is right here. It's like just like dramatically slowed. It's like they just like tone down the fucking speed, where it's like just slow motion right now. You're normally aging every year. Now you're just like, what you used to age in 10 years, now you age in like a year. You just got like so much extension in life, but it's got locked in from the damage it's done so far, right? Up till then. So the less damage you can do from now till then is what you want to get locked at. So you can then live from there, wherever you are, 30, 35, 40, 45, till 100, 150, 200 years old. Whenever this topic comes, people start to think about like, well, nobody wants to live forever. You can kill yourself. We understand that. I mean, like, sometimes I think about this actually a lot. I used to think about this a lot like before. I'm pretty pessimistic as a person, and I'm like, man, some of you guys are really, feeling this life thing, because I'm not really like feeling this thing. Like suicide will still be an option. I'm not saying we're going to be immortal. You can just get run over by a car and still be fine. You can still die. You can still end your life, however you want to say it nicely. But we're just saying people who don't want to die, because a lot of people who die, they don't want to die. Either an accident happens or they just get old. They're not just like, yeah, I'm ready to go, I'm peacefully going. Maybe they come into that because of religious beliefs, but if they had an option, they're like, you're like 50 now, you're okay, you're not that fit, but would you like it if you just, like, your knee pain, how it's starting to crack, would you like it if it like just does not do that? Would you like it if it's like, how you can't get up the stairs right now? Would you like it where it's like, you can get up and it's like not a problem? And if you like keep going down the list, a lot of them will be like, yeah, I actually don't want to hurt and sit down and crack and my lower back pain and stuff like that. I would like it if those things were not happening. And I will let you know if I need to end this entire existence. But for now, I think I will check off the box of not having to face those issues. That's what I'm talking about. People who want to live can live. There's so much more I can say, and I will make videos about this more and more and more. It's all I can think about. I could barely sleep last night. I never thought I would cry from an American election in a million years, but here we are. I guess I'm officially more American than I am other nationalities. I'm definitely not more Bangladeshi, that's for sure. I just don't know if there's part of me more Thai, even though I'm not from there or anything. Memories, how I identify myself, a lot of it comes from that small period of couple of years in that country. That's it, guys. We're good. We won. This is it, and it is real life. It's a big win. We should all be proud that we're here. Peace.